November 14th, 2025, The Unscripted Script. When I came to California in May, I had this excitement within that God was orchestrating everything that was happening. It's the reason that I started making these videos. I wanted to capture events that were unfolding in the now, with a great expectation that I was living inside of a miraculous prophecy unfolding. On this list of hopes and dreams, I thought that meeting the scriptwriter was a sign that my book would be placed into film. I thought what a miracle that it would be for a nobody like me with a self-published documentary of my ex-husband's survival and recovery to make it on the big screen. I thought how wonderful I would feel to get a huge check and be able to share it with him so that he could have a home again and not struggle to eat on his disability. I also thought that God had a plan for me to have a home again, maybe near Point Magoo, the rocks of Malibu, where I fell in love with this place. And perhaps the biggest miracle of all was the hope for love to be restored inside of me. I wondered if God had a plan for Dave and I to be together in a beautiful new chapter, and for my son to come here and for him to find hope and a future and love too. I thought God was sending me here with a promise to restore all that I had lost and to repay the years of suffering with a chapter so glorious that it wouldn't even be worth comparing to the suffering I have endured over the last 9 years. My son went back to Texas in August and only returned for a few days in October to get his car and drive back to Houston. Then I met a producer and I told her about my story, even offered to work on her trucking show to get into the business somehow, as if doing so would lead to an opportunity for me to tell my story and share my book. She fired me before she even hired me because her psychic told her that I wasn't meant to work with her. The following week, a trucking company offered me a job in Texas, and then he too canceled the offer the very next day, only to circle back 2 days ago, again entertaining the idea of offering a sales job to me, but only if I would consider relocating back to Houston. And perhaps the most shocking event of all happened last week on November 8th, when a text argument turned into hurtful words, and Dave blocked my phone calls and deleted me from all of his social media accounts. I didn't get a book or a film offer in California. My son came and went, and the man that I thought could be my future, the one that I thought God had ordained to be my next chapter in this life, made a very strong statement that he does not want a future with me. He didn't even say goodbye. Maybe the 2015 book of CALI was buried because it was never meant to be. Maybe the prophecy of the woman who lost everything and then received a beautiful new chapter from God wasn't a prophecy, but it was just a dream. There's nothing left for me now in California, just pain and disappointment. So when the trucking man calls me next week, hopefully he will have an open door for me to pack up my bags and drive out of the city of angels with my head hanging in shame of all that I have done to myself in chasing after this happy ending that never came true. If God is merciful, he'll give me enough money in the offer to start paying my debts and get an apartment, and maybe he'll even gift me my dog Draco back. And if God is really merciful, maybe for the first time in 4 years, I will not be alone for Christmas. This week, I will do my best to pack and discard and to let go. Not just of things I've accumulated, but of California, of Dave, and of this dream or prophecy called the unscripted script. I think about why these things have happened. The book of CALI was a seed of hope that kept me alive, waking up each day through the darkest years of pain and loss, beyond anything that I have ever experienced before. Over the last 3.5 years, I pursued this fairy tale as if it were a lifeline from God, leading me down a path, scary, confusing, lonely, and into the unknown, but where the light would one day at this end of a dark tunnel finally break forth and glory would be there to rescue me again. Why would I believe such a crazy thing? Because I've seen God gift me new beginnings since I was 5 years old, crying on a windowsill, writing letters to a daddy that disappeared. God has never left me nor forsaken me. Every loss, He gave a replacement. In every fall, He renewed my strength. In every dead end, He opened a new door. And every time I was at the bottom of a pit, dead and finished, He would breathe new life into these lungs. So it's hard for me to let go of this promised land. It's hard to surrender and give up this dream that I chased with my whole heart. It's hard to look at my writings and the sandbox full of prayers that I have poured into for so many years and let this all go. Tamara said that she had a nightmare last night about Tracy. I went walking with her and I told her of all the similar dreams I had about Dave over the last 6 years. Fearful dreams. She begged me to go and see him and tell him the truth. She doesn't realize that I have tried so many times. He won't listen to me. And he doesn't want to explore a loving relationship with me, as he has said so many times. No matter how much praying, fighting, talking, or trying to make something happen that we do, if it's not God's plan, it's not going to change anything in our favor. Accepting this and preparing to leave California in silence is one of the hardest things I will do. To tell my heart it is finished, and to trust that this too shall pass, and that God will somehow resurrect my hope and my love again one day. Well, I guess that's my new dream. If there's one thing beautiful and positive that has come from this experience, I am very grateful to have met Tamara, a friend who has been like a sister to me, and I will dearly miss her. The Unscripted Script, November 14th, 2025.